All right, for the linked list intro assignment, I'd like to start and just kind of walk through some of this. I'm not going to give you code, but I am going to talk about kind of what needs to happen. So the first thing we need to do here is we need to create this, okay? So we're going to prototype it inside of the class. I believe I've got the class here. Let me find it. So if we come down here, that's our node class, our linked list base class. That's not where we do it, although you can get a lot of the information from right up here, okay? Our first one we're doing here is insert new fifth element, I believe. Let's pull back up the PDF and make sure, yep, get fifth element. So we're going to do a get fifth element. So actually we're going to go get the fifth element. This is the first one we're starting with. All right, and so we're going to prototype that down inside of the class. Let's go find it. Let's linked list based. Here we go. So right here is where we're going to add that. And we're just going to bring that in like we have on the other assignment. So in here, let's see if we can find an example. Right here is an example of how we would prototype. Notice no body, and we close it with a semicolon. Okay. The next thing, once that's done, just like here, let's go down. This is our insert last. Insert first, insert last. So it's going to look a lot like this, only it's going to be get fifth element, I believe is what it was called. And then we're going to go ahead. Notice now we do have the body. Notice we are using the name of the class here. Let's go through this. Whenever we template with that. And then as we build our class, I think I just created something I didn't want. Or I just, I just deleted it. There we go. That's what I did. We begin with the return type, either void or some type of return type. We use the name of the class followed by T. This is giving us the automated typing, the automatic type, followed by the two semicolons, then the name of the function, and then any parameters that need to be passed in. Now, if we're holding this constant, we'll want to include the const keyword here at the end. Then we open with the body and we go through and do what we need to do there. Okay. Notice here we are creating a new node called temp, and then kind of going on through and using that through our program here. So let's jump back up here. So you're going to be creating this get fifth element. Now this element returns the data at the fifth node of the linked list. Notice that it starts at 1. Our count starts at 1, not at 0. And it should throw an error if there is no fifth element. So let's draw this out. All right, so we know that we're going to have an error if there's no fifth element. So 1, I'm going to ink to shape here. Makes my boxes a little cleaner. 1. 2. Assume these are all the same size. 3. Let's just go ahead and do 3. So we know we're starting at 1. We know that we have 3 elements. Okay. We know that down here we're going to have a first. And to access this first, we're going to say this first. The T should be lowercase. We're going to have a last. This is pointing here. This is pointing here. We also have a count. And at this point, the count should be 3. Now, 2 ways of doing this. For our error, we can come through and say, what if our count is less than what? 5. We need to double check that, right? Because this is pointing here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 4, 5 here. So if I have 5, then I can do it. I can remove 5, right? I can get 5. I'm not removing it. I'm getting it. Otherwise, I'm just going to return I'm going to throw a 1 because I have my return type is a T, so I have a return type, so I'm going to need to throw, and that's what the instructions tell us, is to throw. So if count is less than 5, we output an error statement. There's not 5 nodes, something like that, and then we throw a 1. In the next case, I do have 5 or more. So if count is, do I want to go equal to or greater than 5? I don't want to do equal to, because if I have more out here, let's say I've got 200 nodes, I could definitely have that. I don't want to only return the 5th node if count is only 5. Do I want to say greater than 4? I could, right? Because then I know that there is a 5. So I could say if count is greater than 4, that means I have a 5th element, and I'm going to, at that point, go ahead and just return the data in the 5th element. Remember, we're going to have to, how are we going to get that 5th element, right? Because there's nothing pointing to this. It's a link or a chain of pointers. So I'm going to have to create some type of loop, either a for loop or a while loop, that gets me down to this 5th element and then returns the data from this 5th element. So I'm going to have to create some type of temporary node, not node. I want to create a temporary pointer. So I'm going to create something like a node pointer that's temp. I'm going to set that equal to my first one, and then I'm going to set it equal to my second, my third, my fourth, then my 5th, and then I'm going to return the data in that 5th one. Now, look up the code for this. I've not given you this code exactly. You do need to look that code up. But that is, I think that's all we probably need to do to get 5th element. Let's go back to this. I mean, that looks good. I think we're okay there.